Living Water started in my house, December the 20th, 2020. 13 of us met in there, but pretty quickly people was wanting to come, people was wanting to know where we're at, and I needed to get people out of my house, to be honest. And so went to actually talk to Michael Barrett at the PBA and gave him a couple of churches that God had laid on my heart that might need a little bit of help. But really what we were looking for was space, and he actually told me, I give him Colfax Baptist, and he said that would be a good one because their pastor, he had been diagnosed with a slow-moving leukemia, and so I got his number and we connected, and I went and talked to him. Actually went over to Winston where he lives, and we had a great conversation. Told him we just needed some space, and if there was an opportunity for us to maybe meet on the Sunday night if he wasn't using the building, if that would work, and he graciously allowed us to do that. And so on March the 21st of 2021, we had our first, what I'll call, public corporate worship service. But I think very quickly they realized that we were very similar from a standpoint of flavor, if you will. And so I went to Pastor Wolverton and said, hey, look, if we're gonna be able to grow, we're gonna need a morning service. And so that was in October of 2021, and he graciously again said, absolutely, anything we can do to help. And so we had our first morning service. I believe it was the second Sunday of October of 2021. What I would say as far as us coming together as a church, it was in 2022, we as a church, Living Water, began to pray on, God, where do you want us to go? And from the beginning, the Lord laid this on our heart, probably to start a church, probably close to 15 years ago. But it just never was timing. God never gave us peace about when and where. But we've always said, sort of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, lean not on your understanding, trust in the Lord, acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He'll direct your path. We began to pray for a 40-day journey of prayer about God's presence, His protection, and certainly His leading. And during that 40-day time, Pastor Wolverton actually came to me and said, listen, I want you to, while y'all are praying, I need you to pray about something. And that's when he communicated to me that he was considering retiring. And he said at that time, and I believe it's time for Colfax Baptist to come underneath Living Water. And we'd never talked about mergers, never talked about unifying together at all. But we did say in the beginning, we're going to let the Lord work. God's done so much since then. But I'm thankful for how He allowed us to be sensitive to Him and just listen to His voice and His timing. And I think that's really the reason why it was really a smooth transition for us to have the partnership with them, and then ultimately becoming one church.
The one thing I'd say too is just that, especially any new organization that begins, you can't go from ground zero to the 10th floor, overnight. There's development that happens, there's steps that have to happen, and just looking at that even from the kind of the baby steps with the core we had and what do we need to get started, laying that good foundation to get going, even just from a kind of a technology point of view, just be able to get a website up, a church management, an email system up so that we could communicate with our people. As that grew and developed, just got into doing some Sunday school classes, starting with a few, and now they continue to expand.
The Lord has done so much in my life since coming to Living Water. As mentioned before, talking about the choir, I had never directed a choir before. And with Terry's help and encouragement, just getting that process started, because my heart isn't music. My heart is teaching and discipleship. That's always been my heart. Music is the vehicle that gets me there most of the time. And so having, in a sense, a mini congregation within the choir, and having, like I said, a vast number of people from different walks of life and different ages that we can come together in fellowship and to disciple one another, has just been a completely different avenue of ministry that I've never tapped into before.